I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Marv B, and you are listening to another episode of the Man Listen Show. Before we get started, let's hear a few words from our sponsors.
DD's Daiquiris is your #1 supplier of premium daiquiri mixes. You will love the taste of our classic margarita and signature strawberry mixes. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at DD's Daiquiris. DD is spelled D-E-E-D-E-E. You can also find us at www.dd'sdaiquiris.com. DD's Daiquiris, giving good vibes to good people, one good drink at a time.
More Grace Counseling and Mediation Services offers individual and relationship counseling as well as mediation services to the community. At More Grace, healthy partnerships are valuable and beneficial. Please visit the website www.moregracecounseling.com for more information about our approach to counseling. More Grace Counseling and Mediation Services, where we offer more grace and more healing.
Are you in the state of Texas and looking for a knowledgeable loan advisor that will walk you through the process from application to closing? Well, then you need to contact Joe Byers at Trinity Oaks Mortgage. Trinity Oaks Mortgage offers FHA, VA, and conventional loans. They also have a first-time homebuyers program available. There is also down payment assistance available as well. Make sure you contact Joe Byers at Trinity Oaks Mortgage. You can reach Joe at 972-512-8990. Are you looking for a virtual assistant who can help you with your scheduling, travel, research, and expenses? Demi Virtual Solutions is the answer for you. Demi Virtual Solutions also provides mobile notary services. They will travel to take care of your needs. So if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and need a virtual assistant or are looking for mobile notary services, contact them at 469-522-9005, and you can find them on their website at demivirtualsolutions.com. That's DEMI virtualsolutions.com. Please buy the new book by Erika Nicole Moore, Diabolical Tales of Woe. Diabolical Tales of Woe is a thrilling collection of short horror stories that leave you in an excited trepidation to see what will happen next. Prepare to face one horrific encounter after the next in this captivating novel. You can find this book on Amazon in the Kindle and paperback version. That is Diabolical Tales of Woe by Erika Nicole Moore. Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the Black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% Black all the time. Please follow the show on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Man Listen Show. You can also find our show on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and share the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Marv B. All right, today, we have a very special guest, Dr. VicTorieus. Dr. VicTorieus, how you doing today?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm doing good. At the time of this recording is Teacher Appreciation Week, and you are an educator, so we want to say we appreciate you.
Thank you.
So Dr. VicTorieus, aka Dr. Tori McDonald Williams. We got you on here to talk about ACEs. Now, I wanted to do this show because it was inspired by the passing of our brother DMX. And, when we look at his story, we see a lot of how he had a lot of childhood trauma and how that affected him as an adult. So when we talk about ACEs, it's clear that he is somebody who was dealing with ACEs, right? So for our people who don't know anything about ACEs, tell us what it is and tell us what it means and why you were drawn to talk about this topic.
Okay. ACEs is an acronym. It stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. It consists of 3 different categories, and under these categories are different examples of what ACEs describe. So it could be from anything from emotional, mental, physical health. It could be divorce, separation, anxiety. Now, all of it has a lot to deal with trauma, in particular childhood trauma that hasn't been addressed, or things that we think is okay, but as we get older, they actually have health impacts on us. Anything from, of course, stress, anxiety, high blood pressure. We've had a lot of deaths. So it's really important for me, being that I actually grew up with adverse childhood experiences in my family, to take time out to just address it to not only pretty much everybody, in particular our African American community, because there are a lot of things that we think is okay, but we don't have a description or know exactly what it is. And it wasn't until, like I said, I went through it, and I had a lot of questions. And so I started doing research at a young age, and I just went from there. And so I realized that childhood experiences is real. It had an impact on my parents and had an impact on me. And my job is just to make sure that I educate as many people as possible.
So, it's funny because a lot of stuff that is considered traumatic or ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, we kind of look at it as a badge of honor, and not knowing that, hey, this is something that's really impacting us. Some of us are able to like push through it and kind of laugh about, oh, this happened when my mama did this to me, or my daddy did this, or, my daddy wasn't here. So you kind of laugh about it, but it really has an effect on people. And what got you to the point where you were like, hey, listen, I'm going to confront those experiences because I realized that it could have an impact on my life, and I want to make sure that I overcome that?
Honestly, I had questions about a lot of things that happened in my own personal household. And I love my parents to death, but they never had answers. And to this day, it's been a struggle. Because I'm older, they're able to open up, but just imagine me being young and asking questions. So just imagine me being, 10 or 11, asking questions. Stay in your place, mind your business, that type of thing. And so I really couldn't get answers. And so, like I said, I just started looking up and asking questions. I am an avid researcher. So just imagine the ACEs study. They paired up Robert Ender. He actually, they partnered with the CDC, the same information website that we're getting COVID-19 information from. If you go to that website right now and put in adverse childhood experiences, you will find a wealth of information. So that's how important it is. The problem is we need to get it out. And so what they did was they paired with the CDC to come up with the study. And the study was actually produced and done in 1998. So in 1998, I was in college. And so I really didn't know about it then. It wasn't a big deal. People were talking about it, but it wasn't until I went to get my dissertation. In my chair, Dr. So said, if you are going to do your dissertation, do something that you're passionate about. And so I always had questions about it. And I started doing research, and it was like a goal. My eyes got big. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I went through all of my life. Oh my God. And from there, that was it. I was able to complete my dissertation on adverse childhood experiences, but then I had to think about myself and the fact that me being a first generation high school graduate, my parents didn't even graduate from high school. just wanting to get out. Why was I running away from Kansas City? Why was I running away? I never really wanted to go back home based off of, the experiences that I experienced when I was younger. And I will say, as far as the research is concerned, I started looking at myself and what my parents actually did for me. I grew up as a product of Kansas City, represent. However, I was very involved. So the Boys and Girls Club, shout out to John Thornberry, 43rd in Cleveland. Anybody from Kansas City know that's well into the hood. I was introduced to the Boys and Girls Club. And when I tell you the Boys and Girls Club saved my life, I became a member of the Kansas City, the world renowned Kansas City Marching Cobras.
Now, hold on, and for people who don't know, the Marching Cobras is a famous drill team in Kansas City. And if y'all remember when MC Hammer was at his peak, some of those dancers, a lot of them was from Oakland, but when he was really at his peak, those were Marching Cobras behind him. So that's the squad she's talking about.
I mean, every summer, we would travel so much. That was how I was able to understand and know there was a world outside of Kansas City. And so we traveled 3 or 4 times out of the year. Chicago for the Bud Billiken. That's actually where I ended up. So shout out to Chicago, because I spent 22 years there, and Chicago raised me for the most part. So I got to give Chicago its props. So yeah, I traveled. I was a participant in the President Bill Clinton inauguration. So I was able to go to Washington, D.C. It just gave me so much opportunity to do a lot. And that's how I started believing in extracurricular activity. So as I was doing my research, I realized if that's what saved me, maybe that can also be a tool to help other students with adverse childhood experiences. And being the director of student activities, where I was formerly employed, I was the activity director for 10 years. And during that 10-year span, I got a lot of students involved in extracurricular activity, and I actually saved a lot of lives. And so it speaks for itself to this day. That's where Dr. VicTorieus came from. It's just me being me. I have mentors to this day that I still mentees, that I talk to this day, who have graduated from college, that are still in school, that have jobs. We still keep in contact. So it's an amazing thing to know that you were responsible for saving people's life, whether it be personally or professionally. And that's what made me who I am today.
And I think, a lot comes from what you just said. And I want to break it down a little bit. I want to unpack it a little bit. So you have somebody who invested in you. Because when you travel the country and you see our different Black communities, you see it's really a plan. It's a systemic plan to keep us all in the same position, because, 43rd in Cleveland and Kansas City look just like the east side of Topeka, where I'm from. It looked just like Memphis, Tennessee. It just looked like the SWATs in Atlanta. It looks the same everywhere. You could tell that we were all put in the same situation. And the fact that somebody took you and said, no, here's something different. You don't have to be confined to this area. And we all know people who never left our hometown. They stayed there, they stayed confined in that way of thinking. And this is not to put them down, but it's just to say that, expanding your horizons and opening your eyes to see, like, if I want to try to beat this, I got to push myself to be uncomfortable and do better. And the second part was, when you talk about those extracurricular activities, you said Chicago raised you. That's where you moved to, and you were working with the youth. You were on the front lines, right?
Yes.
We always hear, this is a show about Black people. We always hear, when people talk about the Black community, I always talk about, well, what about Chicago? What about Chicago? Right. All the violence in Chicago. Well, here we have somebody who was on the front lines. Unfortunately, you have some students that, the story didn't turn out so good, right? But think about how many you saved by being that resource, opening up your home to them, taking them to do different things. And they ended up getting past those ACEs and ended up being good people. So how is it being received? Because I'm sure if you're talking about ACEs, you're talking to people our age who are adults who may be set in their ways? Are people embracing the ACEs, this topic, this new idea of adverse childhood experiences? Because a lot of times, not only is this Teacher Appreciation Week, but this is May, so it's also Mental Health Awareness Month. And in the Black community, sometimes people are resistant to that because, oh, mental health, you must think I'm crazy. So how are they receiving the work that you're trying to do?
So my students always laugh because I always say, I'm just being honest. So I'm gonna have to, put a hashtag on that one day. It's been amazing. I started this journey. Now, let's be clear. I've been victorious all my life, okay? However, Dr. VicTorieus was actually implemented in November of 2020. And when I tell you it's going amazing, it's going amazing. I have friends that send me articles. They send me videos. My Instagram following, shout out, it's going kind of fast. I'm not numbers driven, let's be clear. I mean, Hitler had millions, Jesus had 12. So I'm okay. I'm not numbers driven. But to have people send you links about ACEs, that means I'm getting my point across. There was a young man this week that sent me his ACEs score. I've never met him before, but I have a link out. I just want to get the ACEs study out there and educate as many people as possible. This young man had, and I'm not going to say young man, he's about our age. His ACEs score was a 9. And so I'm really at this
put
point.
That in perspective. Is that 9 out of 10?
9 out of 10.
So 10 being bad?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me tell you a little bit. Let me interject right here and tell you the ACEs study, they have one online. So I have Linktree. I'll give you the information. The ACEs study is right in my Linktree. And basically, once you answer those questions, it'll give you your ACEs score. This man's score, and I've never met anybody whose score was a 9 out of 10. But when I tell you, I think what impacted me the most is that he said, I wish I would have had someone like you when I was growing up. That's enough for me to keep going. I'm going to keep going and educating as many people as possible about adverse childhood experiences because it's so real. And let's be clear, there's so many other things that could be added. That study was in 1998, and here it is, 2021. Cyberbullying is so real. That could be considered, especially with COVID-19 and kids bullying, it definitely can be considered childhood trauma. It could definitely be considered. So I would like to work with famous greats like Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris. Oprah just got a book out talking about her trauma. It's getting out there. I just want to continue to educate others and let them know to seek therapy whenever you're ready to discuss and talk. I would not encourage anybody to, just go start pointing fingers at people. No. I just want to get the information out and say, educate yourself. And that's because I'm telling you, once I started doing more and more research, the more and more I started realizing how real it was, and the fact that the African American community overlooks that type of thing. So, yeah.
And I think it's important, before we wrap it up, we always say that there's always, this ploy, this plot to divide us as Black people, to divide the Black man and the Black woman. And so Black love is of utmost importance. And it's very hard to love someone when you aren't healed yourself. You got to heal yourself, because not only are they marrying you or they deciding to spend their life with you, but they're also taking on all the baggage that you have with you, all that trauma that you may have with you. They're taking that on as well. So to be a better man to a woman, to be a better woman to a man, you have to heal that. And it's not their job to do it for you. You got to do it yourself. So that's why I feel it's important what you're doing, because once we do the work to heal ourselves, then that's when we really start to really solidify and rebuild the Black family, because the Black family is of utmost importance for our community. And everything we do on this show is about the Black community. So I really appreciate what you're doing. I'm so proud of you, and I want people to really embrace this concept And then, get the information from you. Make sure you follow her. We'll give you a chance to get your information. Make sure you follow Dr. VicTorieus. And like you said, we have resources. We have a counselor that we have on the show all the time. More Grace Counseling. So if you're in the Missouri area, Kansas City, St. Louis, you can talk to her. If not, we'll find you somebody. But like Dr. VicTorieus said, confront those issues. Don't confront the people. Confront the issues within, and then work on healing yourself. So Dr. VicTorieus, tell them where they can find you.
Everywhere. Most of the time, it's actually Dr. VicTorieus. I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I am on LinkedIn. Definitely on LinkedIn. Pretty much everywhere. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. So I'm pretty much on all social media outlets. I'm actually even in Clubhouse. So shout out to Clubhouse because I've met some wonderful people on Clubhouse. So I'm pretty much everywhere. Either look for Be VicTorieus or Dr. VicTorieus. I'm a lot of places.
Tori, Tori, spell VicTorieus for them. Spell it for them.
Oh, okay. Okay. So VicTorieus is VIC capital TORIEUS. My nickname is actually Tori. And so someone actually gave me that name because they were very happy about me going back to school to get my degree and said that I created victory in them. And so they actually gave me the name Dr. VicTorieus. So I didn't make it up myself. It was actually given to me.
But it's so apropos, and I'm so proud of you. So everybody make sure you follow Dr. VicTorieus on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse, wherever, and make sure you spread the message about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. So everybody, make sure you look into that because, like I said, we need to heal ourselves as a community so we can be better towards one another and love each other in a better way. So thank you for listening to the show. You can find us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, @manlistenshow. You can also subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe and tell everybody about the Blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. We'll holler at you next time. Peace.